Students, today we are going to see female reproductive system, and we'll see the parts in female reproductive system. The first is oviduct, that is also called as fallopian tube. Second is ovaries. The third one is uterus. Fourth one is external genitalia. And the last one is mammary glands. So I'll draw this diagram and I'll explain you each and every part. So we'll see first uterus and fallopian tube. As you see, this is a uterus. Okay, this is the ovarian filament. Okay, this is the ovarian ligament to which these ovaries are held in a position. And here is your fallopian tubes. So they go like this. Okay, and they form finger like projections. These fallopian tubes, or they are also called as ovaries, they are 2 in number, and here they are divided into 3 parts. These fallopian tubes, they are divided into 3 parts. This proximal part, okay, this is called as infundibulum. This intermediate part, extended intermediate part, this is called as ampulla. And this part that connects this fallopian tube with this uterus, this is called as isthmus. Now the ovary is the organ which is almond shaped, so it is 3 centimeter in length, 1 centimeter thick, and 1.5 centimeter in breadth. So ovary is the organ which produces egg every month. So when the egg gets discharged, it is received by the finger like projections. The finger like projections, they are called as fimbriae. So they are received by this fimbriae. And this if you see this fallopian tube, it has a ciliated mucous membrane. Okay, so they have a ciliated epithelium. So why is it that? Because when they receives this ovum or egg, it gets propelled, okay, towards ampulla. It's very important. The sperm is coming like this, okay, it will go to ampulla, and ampulla is the site where there is a fertilization takes place between sperm and egg. So to propel your egg towards ampulla, the ciliated movements, okay, of the cilia, and there is also a contractory peristaltic movements of this fallopian tube which propels this egg towards this ampulla so that the fertilization can take place. Apart from that, here you will see your uterus is also divided into 3 parts. This dome shaped, okay, this dome shaped broad part is called as fundus. The central body that gets tapping downwards, this is called as body. And here inside this there is a womb. Okay, womb is a place where baby gets implanted. Here your starts, here is cervix. So this is a cervix and this is vagina. So if you see cervix is also divided into 2 parts. This is called as external orifice, the opening, okay, that leads to that is towards this vagina. This is called as external orifice. And the part of cervix, okay, that is projected towards uterus, this is called as internal orifice, IO and EO. Now cervix plays a very important role. Cervix secretes some secretions. They also have some antibodies which resist infections. They prevents infections in vagina and cervix, and they also produces antibodies, and they keep your vagina, because of the secretions, they keep the vagina acidic, and which is important. The next thing is we'll see this internal part, this is called as uterus. Endometrium, you see this uterus, it is divided into three parts. Okay, the outermost layer is called as perimetrium, the middle layer is called as myometrium, and the innermost is called as endometrium. So it's a basically it's a hollow muscular pouch that is present in the uterus. So when the baby gets implanted, and whenever there's a time of delivery, the baby, you can call it as a parturition time. So when there's a parturition time, at that time there's a perimetrium and the myometrium, they starts contracting, and because of the contraction, the baby, okay, that it gets pulled outside. So that is how it works. Now we'll see external genital part. See external genitalia. Okay, so external genitalia, it is divided into again four parts. The first one is right here, external genitalia. Okay, the external genitalia is divided into labia minora, labia minora, labia majora, the third one is clitoris, and the last one is vagina. Okay. So I'll show you how it looks. If you see this, the labia majora, okay, it forms a very thick fold, skinny folds. If you see, it looks like this. Okay, the female external genital area, it looks like this two folds, okay, that encloses all these vaginal opening and the urethral opening inside. This two, okay, that guards. So all these, all these are called as vulva. The external genitalia, they are called as vulva. Together they are called as vulva. So what these folds do is, they are the large folds. So they keep they guards the boundary of this vulva. These are the two skinny folds. Inside the skinny folds, you will see there is one another layer. Okay, this is called as labia minora. This is called as labia minora. So it is just present medially to labia minora. This is labia minora. Okay, this is labia majora, this is labia minora, and on anterior end of this labia minora, there is a presence of clitoris. Okay, clitoris is the conical projection, which is a very sensitive, it's a erectile organ. Okay, just like in males they have penis, the erectile organ, the same thing, clitoris works here. This is called as clitoris. And the next one here, inside this there is a presence of opening here. Okay, so here you'll see this is vaginal opening. Okay, this is vaginal opening. Okay, and above this vaginal opening there's a opening, this is called as urethral opening. Okay, here above your vagina there is a urethra here. Okay, and here is anus. So urethra, urethra is the organ from which urine gets expelled out. So this is how all these organs are here. Now I'll go for the next. We'll see mammary gland now. Okay, so mammary glands, they are called as a mammary sweat glands. So it's very important, to feed your newborn child, newborn baby. It's very, very important. It gives the nourishment, and it also gives immunities, because the breast milk, it contains antibodies to fight against infections. So mammary gland, it is situated between, it's present in thoracic cavity in between second and sixth ribs, in between second and sixth ribs. If you see, it looks like this. Mammary glands. Okay, here is the presence of nipple. Okay, and around the nipple there's a, it is surrounded with the brown area. This is called as areola, and this is nipple. And here there's a presence of lobules. These are called as mammary lobules. They are called as mammary lobes. Mammary lobes. Inside the lobes there's a presence of lobules. Okay, and inside these lobules there's a hollow, okay, hollow cavities are there, the cells that are filled with the cavities. Okay, so they are like this. They are called as alveoli. These are called as alveoli. Okay, just like the lungs have alveola, the same thing, they have the hollow cavity like structures, cells containing hollow cavities. So if you see actual structure, it looks like this. This is your cells. Okay, they have the cuboidal epithelial cells. So what they do is, the cuboidal epithelial cells of these mammary glands, they secrete milk. Okay, so, and this is called as mammary duct. This is called as mammary duct. So what the mammary ducts do, whatever the milk that is secreted by this alveoli, so it carries this towards this nipples, and here below the nipples there are again sinuses. These are called as mammary sinuses. So what is the function of mammary sinuses? Mammary sinuses, they store milk into them. So first of all, in the lobes, milk is produced. The milk is carried to this mammary ducts towards this mammary sinuses. Mammary sinuses stores this milk, and whenever it's a reflex action actually. It works under two hormones. The first hormone is prolactin, and the second hormone is oxytocin. Okay, so what happens first is prolactin. It's a very important for producing milk, but when baby suckles the nipples, then the nerve impulses, they sends the signal to brain, and from the hypothalamus it starts secreting this hormone that is called as oxytocin. And because of this cells, they are surrounded with myoepithelial cells. Okay, these are another type of cells, myoepithelial cells. So what they do is, they start squeezing this alveoli, and because of this, what happens, the milk gets ejected out. So both the prolactin is important for producing milk, and oxytocin is important for ejection of milk.